Well, good morning. Bernice Winter from the Condominium Real Estate Sales Academy and Condo Check. I'm here today to talk to you about security in condominiums. Big topic. And it's important to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or 95. Security is a big issue, especially in today where we're seeing so much go on. So let's start with allowing access. Whether you have a apartment building, a townhouse style building, a villa, a secured villa, it really doesn't matter. Security is critical. And the number one way that people access, especially in the apartment style, the way they access those buildings is they follow somebody into the parkade or they follow somebody through a front door. Now, this is a really big issue. I want you to think of it this way. If you're living in a single home in a nice little suburban street and you got out of your car and you walked up your walkway to go to your front door and somebody followed right behind you and they stood right behind you as you dug out your keys, would you open that door and invite them in for tea? Or would you look at them and say, "Who are you? Where's your key?" You know, that's all you have to do in a condo. Where's your key? You don't just let them in. You wouldn't let them into your home, but in a condominium, when you allow them through that door without verifying they belong there, you've just let them into everyone's home. What a scary thought when you think about it that simply. And it is a scary thought. And we all want to be polite. It's really hard. It's really hard to say to somebody, "I'm sorry, but I can't let you in." Now, that's where 90% of your problems start. The parkade, it's the same thing. When you enter that door, stop and let the door close behind your vehicle. It's that simple. Don't let the car behind you come in. Anybody living in the building will appreciate that. I've been in condos where I've had that same thing, and the guy behind me will hold his key fob out his window so that I can see he has a fob, and then I'll move forward. So, comically, one time leaving the parkade, I had that happen with the person in front. I'm like, it's okay to keep going when you're leaving the parkade. You don't want to trap your fellow owners in the parkade and make the door go down and then have to start over. But I appreciated the fact that that driver was security conscious. That particular building, we had so many break-ins. It was unbelievable. We were in the downtown core, and believe it or not, it turned out it was one of the service providers who had access to the lockbox for the keys, and through videos, through vigilance, through owners really paying attention to not letting people in, we did catch the culprit. But it's a team event, and this is something to be really thoughtful of when it comes to security. Many people, and it's really common, it doesn't matter where you are, to never know who lives next door to you. We're not very community minded anymore. We're too busy. We're always on the run somewhere. We see somebody in the elevator, we might see them the same person at the same time of every day. That's as close as we get to knowing our neighbors. This is part of the problem. It's one of the reasons that every owner should attend the annual meeting, if for nothing else, is to see who lives in their building. But more than anything, when you see something, let's say you're on your way to the elevator, on the way to your unit, and you see somebody sleeping in the corner, passed out, drunk or stoned or whatever, call the police. Put in a call. We have this mindset of we don't want to be a bother. We don't want to, it's just, he'll sleep it off and he'll leave. Well, maybe not. I have video of a condo where someone let someone in. We saw him follow in the camera. That person did have a nap in the lobby for quite a while, but when he woke up, he was so stoned. He broke through 3 doors in the lower level. Then he stood with the fire extinguisher, which he pulled off the wall, brackets and all, over the parkade entrance door, waiting for it to open to smash this over someone's head. Can you imagine? We have it all on video. Now, this was someone who was let in by an owner. Now, the owner who let him in Alberta here, was charged with the damage to replace the 3 doors and the fire extinguisher because she let him in. You're responsible under Alberta bylaws for guests and visitors. Well, that was considered a guest. She let him in. Wouldn't you like that bill? That was a pretty expensive lesson. And all because she didn't want to be, condescending or insulting or what have you. All you have to do is simply ask for their key. Do they have a key? If it's a key, if it's a fob, and that's the simple question. And if they say no, you just have to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. You'll have to wait for your party to come and let you in." If you have a townhouse style with a security gate and you get buzzed through your phone to let people in, there's usually a visual on the at the center. Take the time to look. Take the time to find out who it is. If you're not expecting someone, don't let them in. If they say, "Well, I've got a delivery for your neighbor and they're not home," then just say, I'm sorry to hear that. But don't let them in. This is all the games that are played, and it is really costly. When it comes to having problems in your building with, whether it's, drug dealers and all these kinds of things that are going on today, do depend on your police department. The Community Service Division of the police department here in Calgary is incredible. They have a call list. They will actually give every owner a specific numbers to call whenever there's a different event going on. You start seeing, needles and that kind of stuff in a staircase or a parking area, then these are the people to talk to. They'll give you some real tips on how to discourage it. But it comes down to that community piece. Security is safest in a building where people are vigilant. They know who each other is. They take the time to call the police. They notify the corporation through the manager or the board, depending on who your contact is, immediately. They don't just turn a blind eye and not want to get involved. And that seems to be the cause. And because of that, it's rampant in too many condominiums, especially in certain areas. But it can be managed. Get together with your neighboring condominiums. Create community. I know it's an old word. We don't use it too much anymore. So that's my 2 cents on security. The other one to really pay attention to is the cost. We do have a lot of boards who feel putting money into more security is not going to be welcomed by the owners. It's a really big expense, especially if you've not got a lot of cameras, or you need to increase the system, from maybe a key to a fob. Making those kind of changes can be very intimidating to the board of directors. So these are the kind of things that I would suggest to boards, that they poll owners and they listen to them. There was, I'll give you an example. One of them that we were involved with as a consultant many years ago, and the board was really, it was 1,000 units. So it was a big project and towers. And they had a real push from owners wanting more security. Now, they did have a good security system, but it was put in by the developer. It was kind of what you needed, but not a lot more than that. Well, the board for years was the same group, and they were just adamant that no, we're good. We didn't want to spend. It was 300 some odd thousand, which between 1,000 owners was really not outrageous. And even if they had to do a cash call, it was pennies for the return. Anyways, long story short, that board resisted that for years until the neighbor of the president on the 23rd floor was murdered in the middle of the night. Guess what the board did at their next meeting? They invested in a stellar security system. So don't wait till something like that happens. Don't wait for tragedy. But don't just rely on your security system. Be vigilant yourself as owners and take the time. Don't let people in that don't belong there. Be respectful of the fact you're sharing with everyone else. You let someone in, you're letting them into all your homes. Imagine in the case where this person was murdered and you were the one that let them in. How would that feel? So that's my advice to you today on security. Again, share this video with as many people as you know who are in condominiums, especially if you're having that dilemma. Should or should you not increase your security? Talk to the Calgary Police. Their division is there, their community division, to help you make these decisions. And they're more than willing to come and talk to owners. So take advantage of that opportunity. I don't know if that's in every community, but it certainly does exist in Calgary. And I've seen the benefits of it. So on that note, I will let you run, and we will see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day and stay secure. Take care.